Introduce yourself and tell us something about your band.
I'm Zach Shaw, the guitarist of The Way Out Is Through.
I'm Hudson Aiken, the manager for The Way Out Is Through. The name of the band is The Way Out Is Through.
How long have you been working as a group?
The live version of this band has been active for about a month now. I picked out a couple musicians that I thought were really solid on campus and asked them to sign a contract to play in my band for a couple months.
And what style or genre do you call it?
Rock is kind of the only way to describe it effectively, because we try to have something for everybody. And so for example, our first song, it's a very classic rock-based rock ballad almost. The second one is a little bit funkier. It's got some heavier bass parts, a lot of slap in it. It's more based on Rage Against the Machine. You have, our last song would be, a lot of people have been comparing it to Nine Inch Nails. And then there's a bonus track on the album that's a rap song. So we try to play a little bit of everything.
We have a little bit. We add a little bit of flair to the music on stage. I am at this moment the lead guitarist of the band, so luckily for me, I get to add my own little take on the solos for each song and the guitar solos. And it's really a creative process between us and Hudson. We actually have a lot more say than a lot of other bands I'd even say. I mean, we really try to work as a group, and we just make sure we create such an amazing atmosphere for the audience and just for us on stage. It's always fun to be playing in this band. Usually, it's more we portray confidence on stage. We all know our instrument well enough that we know how to work it, and we also want to make sure that the audience sees that we're not just a bunch of students playing. We are rock musicians, jazz musicians. So we want to make sure that we are seen as a great band, who are a tight unit. So visually, I think that's more of the purpose, and then acoustically, we have to make sure that we sound together as well. And I think we've been doing pretty good, especially for a new band as well.
Now, do you have any samples on your computer? So this is an example of your work.
Yes, sir.
And what's the name of it?
This song is called Endorphin.
That's something like a biological name.
Yeah, it's
it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Those are the feel good things that go around the blood, right?
Yes, sir, you're right.
Hopefully the music does that.
That's what makes you happy.
Now, if anybody is interested in listening to music from The Way Out Is Through, how do they go about it?
You can actually download the EP, the debut 7-song EP, for free. You can go to our MySpace at www.myspace.com/thewayoutisthrough-rocks. Yeah, we're trying to just get our word out, get it on some iPods and stuff.
When did you put it on MySpace?
We put it on MySpace, let's say 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago we put it on MySpace.
Can you tell us what kind of response you're getting?
So far we have had 500 verifiable downloads.
Yeah. Let me put my opinion right on the table here out front. But it seems to me that when you describe the genre as rock, just to point the question and to be a little provocative, it doesn't add anything.
That's exactly it. The music's just so, each song is so different that you can't really label them all as one genre. You have one song that's really slow and piano based, and it's electronic. It's very computerized, and so then you next to another song which sounds like James Brown got dragged through the mud a couple times, and so each song is so completely different from the other one that you can't really classify them all as, say, punk rock or rap rock or heavy metal. Each song is very distinctive in its own, and so you can't really classify them all.
Well, along the same line, do you feel that you're breaking new ground, or are you conscious of that?
I hope I am.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't want to say I am because I don't know.
I would say that you and the band, I would say, definitely are hitting new ground by bringing elements that don't usually get combined together while making it something that just seems very listenable also. I don't think a lot of bands are able to do that. I don't think a lot of past acts are able to recapture that flame that they used to have. So I really think that the music is definitely something that I haven't really heard from a lot of other bands either, and I think it's definitely new and exciting, and I think it definitely is breaking some new ground, or at least bringing some grounds together.
Well, be a little more specific and tell me what combinations of things are new.
I think the fact that there's a bit of a funky element as well as a punk element mixed together in some songs is definitely something I've never really heard done, and other bands have done as well as the music has been able to do. So, in that sense, I just got quiet. I think in that sense, I think those two genres, people don't usually think of them as a good combination, but I think Hudson's been able to prove that it's definitely able to do it, and it's a good combination. So in that way, I think it's a little bit groundbreaking.
It's also a good bit of electronica influences. We use I create a lot of instruments on my computer and use those in the music. A lot of synth work. There's actually a good many hip-hop influences as well in how we tune the drums for our set. We try to get a really, really heavy, deep, reverberating bass drum, and get a really good in-the-pocket groove that's kind of jazz-based, and that's why I chose musicians. That's why I chose a jazz bassist for my band, specifically for that reason, so you can play in the pocket with my drummer. So, yeah, I mean, we try to bring everything we can into it.
Okay, one last question for each of you to answer. As a guitarist, how much do you see the guitar as the perfect way for expressing yourself?
I think it's extremely expressive. I think that's kind of the reasons why I ended up picking up the guitar. I'd say it's definitely a voice. I think one of my biggest inspirations is guitars like Slash, or even as well as Jimi Hendrix. They really added a voice to the guitar. They didn't just try to be flashy, they didn't just trying to blow your socks off. They tried to create emotion with each note. And I think that's the kind of thing that's relatable to music. I think as a child, it gave me a voice. Is
it your own voice?
Yeah, it is. And I think that's why I think it's great about working in this band, because I get to add music I would be playing in a sense, not the exact notes, but of course the style, and as well as it's definitely a voice when I add my own solos. I try to make it scream out what I'm feeling at that moment, whether it's jolly goodness, or even a little bit of anger. I let it really just feel it. The energy that I put into guitar, it's almost the same way as the energy I would put into my own voice when I'm trying to scream something or express my own feelings or emotion.
Okay, Hudson, tell us how you answer the same question with regard to composing.
I actually started out as a bassist, and I've been playing bass for 5 years now, and I always, because of that, my music tends to be centralized on bass guitar and that deep groove, keeping it in the pocket. And for me, composition is more fulfilling than bass guitar was, even because I don't know. With bass guitar, you can do so much. I mean, it's honestly, I think bass is the most underrated instrument that there is, because you can make it cry with slow, sad beats. You can make it dance with slap funk. You can make it walk. You can make it run. I mean, you can do so much with it, but you can't go all the way. You can't express every shade of that emotion that you're feeling. And so whenever I write something, I get to add in all that extra detail. It's with just bass, it's like painting a picture with one color. But whenever I get to add guitars and synths and strings and whenever I'm writing the lyrics and the drum patterns and all that, I get to add the reds, the blues, the greens, and I get to make it really say what I want it to say.